Buying your first home and or investment property is totally exhilarating. However, it's important to stay grounded. Here are three ways you can think like an investor so you don't make emotion-based decisions that can limit your revenue, your profit, and cause your overall business strategy to suffer. Before I jump in, my name is Tawny Powell, and I'm a real estate investing and Airbnb coach. I help action-oriented folks completely transform their life by buying their first home or their first investment property and using all or a part of it as a short-term rental so they can double, triple, and in some cases, quadruple their income. If you want to see how this strategy specifically applies to you, book a free meeting with me to see what's possible for you in the world of real estate investing. When I ask people what they think is the most important aspect of buying an investment property, a lot of people will say the typical answer, location, location, location. And yes, location is definitely important. Other people may say, the financing is important. You've got to get the right financing. Of course, that financing can make or break your deal. However, what a lot of people don't tend to think about is how to think like an investor. And most first-time investors don't really know how to think like an investor yet. They're still out looking for a home that they love or a home that's going to get their feelings involved and make them feel all warm and fuzzy, and that is not the way we want to go about this. So here are three ways that you can think like an investor and not get stopped or thwart your real estate investment strategy. Number one, focus on the numbers, not your feelings. As I said, if you're buying strictly for investment, your goal should be to purchase a property that's going to make you money, that will be profitable. Buy low, rent high. You don't have to like the house. And I get that can be a hard thing to swallow, especially for a lot of first timers because you're excited. You want a property that you look at and you go, ooh, and ah. But the reality is your personal opinion of the house doesn't really matter. I'm sorry to say that. But what really means something is the numbers. How much is it going to cost you? What are your operating costs going to be? How much does it project that you can rent it out for? All of these things matter. Number two, consider the future resale value. It can also make a difference to think about the long-term potential for appreciation for the property that you plan to buy. Sure, you might like the neighborhood, but again, your feelings really don't matter in this case. Like, what does the real estate market data say? Yes, it's wonderful to own a home in a very stable neighborhood where there's like zero crime and everything is perfect and hunky-dory. And those investments are secure and they're not likely to depreciate. However, your appreciation may average, maybe 6% a year or so. It's not bad, but it's not going to blow you out of the park in 2 years. If you're really looking to make a big bang for your buck, like double the value of your property in 5, 6, or 10 years, you want to look at up and coming neighborhoods that are still growing, that are still in some phase of development. That's going to give you the biggest return long term. And if you're house hacking, you might think, well, I don't want to live in a neighborhood like that. And, you don't have to. Your safety matters and your comfort matters if you're going to live in the property, but it should be something that you're thinking about. And if you're not trying to house hack and you're just buying an investment property, then of course, you really just want to stick to what's the future potential for this property. You want to be able to have a property that you can walk away with in a few years and sell it free and clear, turn around and pull the cash out of the equity and put a down payment on property number 3. These are things that are important to think about as you grow your portfolio, not even from a perspective of trying to sell and cash out, but also try to grow your portfolio. If you want to leave the country, you can use your equity to come up with a down payment on a property somewhere else. You want to think big picture, longer term. You want to think about the future value of the property. Number 3, avoid impulse buys. Take your time. And by that, I also mean have a plan. Take time to create a plan. Don't just get your financing and head out into the market and buy the first property you see that you like. You think it'll do well. I've seen so many people talk about, I thought it would do well. It looks good. Do the math. What is the property going to cost you? What's the projected monthly payment? What are the expected costs for your utilities? Are you paying a property manager? What is that going to cost you? If not, are you going to manage it yourself? What is the projected rent for the area, whether it's long-term or short-term? And what does it look like for this property to produce? If you don't know those numbers, then you probably need to get on the phone with someone like me and get some guidance from a professional to figure that part out. Don't buy impulsively just because you like it. I have heard horror stories of folks who've done that, only to find out they don't actually allow short-term rental in the city they bought in. Or they had to change their whole entire strategy after the fact because they didn't plan well, they didn't research well, and the property didn't perform. You want to make sure that your purchasing is going to be profitable. So you need to do your research and understand how you're going to make the projected revenue that you want to make off of this particular property. You want a property where the numbers are going to work for you, not where you have to work to cause the numbers. Take your time, plan well, do the math. Lastly, if you want to talk about this one-on-one with a seasoned expert with a proven track record of a number of successful clients, who's also super fun to work with, get on my calendar. Let's look together at your goals and what you need to have them become a reality. And let's create the life of your dreams.